Okay, so I just finished the Hostel franchise. Um, it's gonna be, this is no script or anything. I literally just finished them and I'm just gonna spiel my thoughts about them. So Hostel 1, um, is a really good, I think it was really good. I thought Hostel 1 was very, very good, just like off the bat. Um, so Hostel 1 follows these two friends and like this foreign guy they meet. But it follows these three friends as they kind of just go around Europe looking for like brothels or like they're going around looking to fuck European women essentially. So the two friends are Josh and Paxton. I'm pretty sure it's Josh. Josh and Paxton, and then along the way they meet this guy from Sweden named Ogie. So as they are like, they're like going around, eventually they wind up in Germany. Um, yeah, they're in Germany, and like they get locked out of their hotel or something, uh, because it's like curfew. But they end up getting like locked out of the hotel, and while they're like banging on the fucking door trying to get back in, the like other occupants of the hotel start like throwing bottles and shit at them because they're like fucking pissed. They're yelling at like midnight. So then this guy like peeks out his window and he's like, hey, come on in, come in, come in. Like I'll help you guys out. He's like, hey, you guys are looking to go like find women to bang, right? And they're like, yeah, basically. He's like, okay, I know this one place. Go to Slovakia. It's got all the hot women there because men left because of the war. Um, so they're like, okay, sure, cool. We'll go to Slovakia. So immediately in the beginning, the first thing that caught me was that the movie starts very vibrant and colorful. Um, the music is very like swelling and matches that tone. The characters' behavior and like the people around them also match this. Like everyone in the very beginning, like for a while in the movie, is very like beautiful. Like they're very conventionally attractive. Everyone's wearing very bright colors. Like the scenes are very well like very brightly lit. Um, I guess a bit of background on the Hostel franchise is that like they're like kind of like twisted torture movies. The first two were produced by Quentin Tarantino and directed by Eli Roth, and then the third one, which I have some thoughts about, uh, I do not was not produced by Quentin Tarantino, and I'm not actually sure who directed it. I'd have to look it up, but when we get there, we'll get there. So, uh, so they take the train to Slovakia, and while they're like on the way there, they kind of this fucking guy. I'll call him Chicken Finger Guy because I don't remember his actual name. This guy shows up. He's kind of off-putting and a little weird. He tells them that he has like a daughter, that and like a wife that he loves. Ogie tells the guy and like Paxton and Josh that he also has a daughter, which Paxton and Josh didn't really know at the time. Um, and then the guy pulls out a fucking chicken salad. He starts like eating it with his hands, which is like I can't judge that because I eat food with my hands all the time. He like eats it with his hands, and he starts giving this like speech. He's like, "I believe humanity has lost our connection with food," and he's like, "I like to touch touch the food that I'm like eating, so I can have like a connection. It feels like I have a connection with the animal that died for me." So then while he's talking and saying that shit, he like puts his like hand on Josh's thigh. Josh like freaks out, calls him like I think he calls him gay, or he may have called him the other. But he basically like freaks out. The guy leaves. He apologizes and leaves. Um, which oh right, I should have said this in the beginning. Which spoiler warning for the whole series because I'm just going in all of it. Spoiler warning for the whole series. So if you want to watch Hostel, watch one and two. Don't watch the third one. But if you want to watch the Hostel movies, I highly recommend them. Go see them. But spoiler warnings. So, but I do like the scene, like picking up on it afterwards. I think in the moment I didn't really make the connection, but afterwards I did. Of like he puts his hand on Josh, which leads into later when he is the one who pays to torture Josh. I think it was a very good like subtle like setup for like what he does later, and like unless you read the description or like know what the movie's about beforehand, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good like subtle kind of subtle nod on rewatch. I think I like that setup. So they wind up in Slovakia, but they don't. It's not. I know the play. I know the location that they shot in was not Slovakia. I think it was somewhere in Ukraine. Wherever they shot though was really beautiful. It was a very very beautiful like scenic spot. Very beautiful. Um, so like as but like as they're taking the train into Slovakia, there's some shots of like the window and like some scenic shots that I think do a really good job of encompassing what the movie's vibe is going into like the second and third act. Is like as they're going, the shots outside are like very vibrant, they're beautiful, they're full of like forest and life, and then like the closer they get to Slovakia, which like it starts turning, it gets more industrial, like the grays are like stronger, the color starts draining, it's like more grungy, the music matches the same tone as well with it, and it's like a very good the movie does a good job of like slowly and subtly like putting it into this industrial dark gray like grungy like atmosphere uh that like I give it very high praise for that. Like it does it very well, and it makes you more immersed into the movie and more in line to what the characters would be thinking. So they wind up in Slovakia. They go to this hostel, which haha, name of the movies. So they go to the hostel. They check in with the lady at the front office who like takes their like passports, and then they like go up to the room. She like tells them to before they go up. She's like, oh, it's shared rooms. So they're like shared rooms, so you're gonna be staying with someone else. So they go up, they meet this blonde and brunette, who's what the brunette is Natasha, I think. I can't remember the blonde's name, but they go up into the room. The two women are getting like dressed, and then they're like, "Whoa, shit! Sorry, we're getting like sorry, we walked in on you getting dressed." And like, "Oh, it's okay." They're kind of like flirty with them, like uh yeah, they're kind of flirty with them, kind of like teasing them a little, and then like as the two women leave, they do like a we're going to the spa, like come join us. So because they're like going around just like looking for like sex, they're like, okay, sure, yeah, that's in the invitation if I've ever seen one. So they go follow the women into the spa. It's very like lighthearted and played kind of just like for fun. So they're in the spa talking to the women, and then the women are like, "Oh yeah, we know these like great bars and clubs that you can go to. Um, so if you guys want to check one of those out, come with us." So we cut scenes. They're in the club. One thing too that I like about this movie is that uh is that the main characters do pretty well together. I think Paxton and Josh did a very good because they're like they've been friends since college, maybe longer, but they do a good like job of portraying them as people who have known each other for a while. I think the actors had some pretty good charisma. It wasn't like the best, like they weren't like super amazing where I was like, "Oh, I can buy that these guys have been friends for years," but it was just well done in the sense of like okay, they're not awkward. They work well together, and the conversations and the way they interact shows that they at least have some type of history of each other. Um, they kind of have the same with Ogie, where it's like Ogie's a lot more eccentric person, and he's like a lot more out there. So it's like he works well mixed with Josh, who's kind of introverted, and Paxton, who's slightly like Ogie, but like more reserved, I guess, in a sense. Um, but another thing about the Hostel series. Sorry. Another thing about the Hostel series that I think, like it kind of, they do it really well in the first one. They do it pretty well again in the second one, and in the third one, it just goes away. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So the thing is though is that it is showing that humans are complex in nature, which is like of course, but it also shows it in a different light of just like like an anti-hero or anti-villain or something like that. The characters in Hostel are very well done in that sense. Like Josh is like very explosive and he's very explosively homophobic. Like there's another scene where he's like in a club, like early in the movie, they're like in another club and he's trying to flirt with this woman and then the woman's boyfriend shows up and then like the guy puts his like hands on Josh and Josh like freaks out, calls him like the F slur and shit. And it's a very like he's he's very explosively homophobic. He's very like fighting for like his masculinity kind of thing. Like he feels like he's not as masculine or should be. He's like when they get him into a like one of the like a strip club, I think it is a club like you pay like for like he's in a room with a sex worker and then the and he kind of like freaks out and like leaves. Like he doesn't really do it. He just kind of leaves. He gets like skittish and leaves because he's like confused about his feelings. Paxton is the same way in that, but like different. Paxton is like very. He's not like violently homophobic. Like, well, kind of. He's not violently homophobic, but he is like he is kind of homophobic, and he's also he only sees these women as like an object or like a prize or like something to get or gain at the end of it. So like he objectifies. He's like misogynistic. He objectifies women, and Oki does the same too. But like, these three are kind of like assholes, which is like the main bread and butter of the Hostel series, or should be, is that the main characters or that the main people that we follow are like dickheads or assholes or like they're not very like good people. Like they're kind of like some of them might be racist or like homophobic, misogynistic, like colorist, like all these things basically. So then that way, when the scenes when they're like captured and tortured, you're kind of like you're it's supposed to it's supposed to urge confliction in the viewer. It's supposed to urge like a sense of like these guys are terrible people, so it's like you're kind of getting your just desserts, but it's also like you know like are like how much is too much or how far is like yeah, he's an asshole, but did he deserve that kind of thing? Or like, yeah, he's an asshole, so it's like he did deserve it, but am I me viewing them getting tortured and like having a weird sense of enjoyment from it? Like, does that make me as make me not as bad, but does that make me bad as well? Is the sort of conflict that they're trying to urge in people like while they're viewing? So yeah, so package. So like that's our three main. So they're at the club. Ogi ends up going with the front desk lady. So like they go out for the night. Paxton and Josh end up having sex with the two women that were in their room. Um, and then next morning comes the two women. I think I don't remember what happens to that. No, no, no. They're the two women that they bang, that they have sex with, not bang, sorry. The two women that they have sex with are not the roommates at the hostel. It's like two other people who are just kind of like, I think they're also like backpacking through Europe, like Paxton and Josh. So those two women, kind of like the next scene is like the next morning. Those two women take a taxi. Paxton and Josh take bite to them. Then when they like are like talking, they realize Ogie never came back home. The front desk lady is now like this guy who kind of looks like fuck, Paul something. The the actor who plays the Riddler in the new Batman movie kind of looks like him a little. So if that gives you a good visual, um, so that's who they end up like finding at the front door at the front desk. They're like talking to him like, did Ogie come back? Have you seen this guy? Like yada yada, this that. The guy's like, no, I haven't seen him. If you want to leave a note, though, like you can do that. And they're like, okay, I guess. So they decide to go looking around for Ogie. Um. Oh, fuck, I completely forgot another scene. Uh, so at the club before the like sex scene, Josh goes outside of the club and he's like just catching some air, I guess. And while he's out there, my favorite characters in this whole movie show, it's these fucking group of kids who chicken finger guy shows up later, but these group of kids who go up to Josh, they like the main kid like holds his hand out and he's like gum dollar. Um but it's like, and then the chicken finger guy shows up. He gives them like $1 and tells them to like go fuck off. So they do. And he's like talking to Josh. They have like they have a conversation about like essentially just like being in the closet, but without like outright saying like I was in the closet, so I understand what you're going through as a gay man who yeah, like they don't it's a very like nice small scene, and it's kind of like it gets more twisted looking back on it after finishing the movie because of what happens later. But it's a nice scene in the moment. So Josh is basically apologizes for being like freaking out on him and being weird. He offers to buy him a drink, and then the sex scene happens later, and then uh they start looking for Ogie after all that shit. Just so we're clear. So Paxton and Josh go around looking for Ogie, their friend. Um, and as they're walking around, the city that they recorded this in is very nice. But you like watching like looking back on it, you can notice like the slight drain in color as it goes on. Like they are slowly draining the color from each scene in each shot, so it's like it's less vibrant color. I mean, not like the fucking movie turns black and white, but like it's less colorful like as it goes on. So like Josh and Paxton start wearing like more muted reds and like blues and stuff. Um, so as they're going around, they end up walking into this museum of like tortury, which has this small cool ticket system where like the ticket is like uh the like on the ticket is like a print of a guy, and then the ticket guy puts the print down and he has a little guillotine machine that he like uses to cut the tickets. It's really cute. I like it. I like it a lot. I really want that. Um but they walk into this museum of torture and kind of just like look around at it. Um, it's kind of like it's very like off-putting and it's slightly unnerving. Just like like them being in there. Uh, it's very interesting. I think like if it was like if that was like a place or like a museum, I'd probably visit if I was there. But it's a very interesting like set piece, and it's like all the fucking things. They got like this chair with like spikes on it and shit on like the arms and the seat. That's like, oh, that's fucking wicked. They got the like classic Iron Maiden, which I think shows up in like almost anything. Um, so like they got like all these things, but as they're walking through, they see this orange jacket with the Swedish flag on its arm, which belonged to Ogie. So they start chasing the guy around. They're like, "Oh, that's fucking Ogie. That's Ogie right there." So they're chasing him around like the museum. The guy's like running, and it's like they get to the exit, which is like those like turntable things with like big as shit. Um, I can't remember what they're called, but they're like big bars and shit. You gotta like turn the like push through. So Paxton grabs the guy's arm and is like, "Hey, Ogie, stop!" Guy turns, not Ogie, and they're like, he's like, "Let go of my jacket," and he's like, "This is our friend's jacket," and he's like, "No, it's mine." Um, but that was like a small kind of unsettling scene a little because they don't not just yet do they show you like what happened to Ogie, and unless you've like read the back of the like know what the movie's about, but like from the perspective of going into this blind, it's very like slightly unsettling in like their suspicions start to rise, and it's kind of like a weird like something is off here. Like you get the sense that something is very off. Um, which is very well done. I like the way they do it. Like I like the way it is handled within the movie of something just being just slightly off, and like as it goes on, the feeling increases. Um, so they kind of give up their hunt. They're like, "Fuck, whatever. Like it's over." Like oh, like they're like, "Ah, shit. Okay, that's weird." So they return to uh, they return to the room, and they meet this Japanese woman, Kana, who came to Slovakia with her friend. I don't think I can't remember the name they gave her. But Kana is like, "Hey, you're looking for your friend, right? Like Ogi or something?" And then they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, we're looking for Ogi." And she's like, "Hey, I got a text of my friend and your friend, and they said they're like running away together for some reason." So she shows them their phone. It's like a photo of the actor and actress, like standing in front of this like factory, fuck, what is it? Chimney, like a big one of those big fucking factory chimneys. Um, and it's just kind of like signed with like the hi, we're running away together, and it's spelled really weird. But they're kind of like that's weird. Uh, so as they're like they kind of like go looking for him again. I think it's like slight montages, but nothing important happens until the end of the scene where they get a text from Ogi, and it's just like a picture of him, like it's just like a picture, like a headshot of him, and he's like, "I go home now, bye friends." So they're both kind of like, that's weird. Like why? Like Josh is like, why would he ditch us? Like that's kind of fucked up. He didn't even say bye. Paxton's like, we didn't really know him. Like he just kind of tagged along with us, and backpackers in Europe do this all the time. Like backpacking groups kind of just like split up and go off on their own, or they like meet up with someone or meet up with a group and then just kind of split off. So it's like whatever. And then Paxton's like, well, he's also got like a daughter, dude. So probably just going back to go like take care of his fucking daughter that he has. Um, so they do this transition where like I'm pretty sure it's like they zoom into the camera or like to the photo of the camera, and then it kind of like of like Ogi's head, and then like backs the camera out. So it's like Ogi's decapitated head on a table. It's like a mystery assailant. I don't remember. They don't show his face. Yeah, they don't show their face. But it's like Ogi's head on the table, and then like behind in like the blurred background is like his body is tied to a chair and is like pushed over. Um, like that was a very good like because by this point in the movie, your suspicions are already like rised, and you're kind of like put off. So when that shot happens, it's a very good like the switch has been flipped now. Like the movie is jumping into like it's meat now. Um, so the mystery assailant leaves the room that like Ogi's body is in, like travels down the hall, starts like whistling. And as he's walking down this hallway, uh, the shot design, like the shots and the set of the warehouse that like the first two movies mainly kind of take place in are very, very good. Um, they're like the set is really good. It matches like the color thing I was talking about earlier of like the like this grungy like industrial like shitty warehouse like the lights are in these like kind of rusted cages. The wallpaper, like the paint is like chipping off the walls and exposing like the brick and like the steel behind them. The floor is like dirty and covered in like just like random debris and dirt. It's a like the lighting is very like dim and kind of like flickering lights and shit. It's very good in like from this like from the beginning of the movie, which is like this very colorful, vibrant, like energetic scene, to this just like depressing, dark, like oppressive, like uh like grungy industrial moment. So I really like the set design of the warehouse. I think it's very, very good. Um, so the Paxton and Josh wind back up at the hostel. They're talking. They're like, okay, we'll leave one more note for Ogi. Um, if he like decides to come back to the hostel. But like he decided to leave. Let's go like party one more time, and then and then like us two and Kana will take the train out of Slovakia tomorrow. But let's just like get lit one more night and then we go. That's Paxton's plan. Josh is like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to. Maybe I'm not really sure. But Paxton convinces them. So they go out. They tell Kana where they're going. Um, and so they wind up back at the club. Josh gets like drugged and he's like knocked out, and then no, he gets like drugged, but he leaves the club, winds back up at the hostel. He gets a drive there from the front desk lady, I believe, passes out on his bed, and then like it's like a scene of like the shadow approaching the door, and then like that scene ends, and then we cut to Paxton, who's also drunk and kind of like, oh fuck, I need like the bathroom. I think maybe I'm just sick or something. So he kind of like wanders out and is like going towards trying to find the bathroom. He winds up locking himself in a closet, like a storage closet where they keep like the beer and shit. But inadvertently, he tricks him. He like fumbles into not getting human trafficked. So that's a win, right? Um, so he wakes up the next morning. His like phone is dead. He shows back up at the hostel. Kana is not there in the lobby. He talks to the guy at the front desk who looks like the Riddler. The guy's like, I've never seen that woman I've never seen her. Maybe she left. Paxton's like, okay, that's weird. What about Josh? Have you seen Josh? Josh is not there, and his passport is missing from the front desk, which is not supposed to be missing unless you have checked out. So Paxton is like kind of freaked out. He calls Josh. Josh doesn't pick up. So he decides. No, 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 no. Not the passport missing. It's that they like Paxton and Josh have been checked out of the room because Paxton was like the plan was for both of them to get human trafficked at the club, but Paxton like accidentally dodging that kind of fucked their plan. But Paxton gets like Paxton gets back to the hotel and is checked out of his hotel room. So he's like, okay, fuck it, whatever. Like, let me at least go back up to the room so I can like grab my shit. But like Josh's backpack is missing. I think Paxton's backpack is missing, and Ogie's backpack is obviously missing. But Paxton goes up to the room, and then when he gets there, a different blonde and brunette are like show up, and it's like the same scene where like the door is cracked open just a little. Paxton walks in. The women act embarrassed slightly, and then they're like, "We're going to the spa. You should come." Paxton then is like, "What the fuck?" And I really, really like that scene. I like that scene a lot. Um, like it was just a very good like what happened to us was a setup, like it was a ruse. Um, and it's very good. Like it's just a very good like offsetting scene, and like as the viewer, at least for me as the viewer, when I saw it, I was like, oh fuck, like I was like, ah shit, okay, I see. Um, like I get what we're trying to what we're not trying, but I get what we are doing here, like what the purpose of this is, and it's very very well done in that sense. Um, so Paxton goes around looking for Josh. He gets his phone taken by the street kids from earlier. Winds up finding Natalia in this uh, with this fuck, what is it? Like, just kind of this like more run down part of like the of Slovakia. Um, but Natalia is like in this bar with the blonde woman. Um, and they did a good job, like the makeup team did a good job of like making them look like unclean and unrefined. Because before they have like this like very nice makeup on, and they look very conventionally like attractive and look very pretty. And then like now when Paxton finds them later, they kind of like they look dirtier. They have like some pimples on them. They look like they haven't slept. Like their eye bags are more prominent. Like they kind of just look less put together. They did have less nice clothes on. Like they had very nice clothes on in the beginning scenes with them. Now their clothes are kind of like lower quality. Um, so Paxton shows up, he's talking to them. He's like, "Where are my fucking friends?" Like that's it. Like he just keeps saying like, "Where the fuck are my friends? Show me where my friends are." And this scene was more like it was one of those like unintentionally funny scenes because the brunette and blonde are like, "Oh, Ogie and Josh, they went to the art museum." And he's like, "What?" And then she's like, "Oh no, I mean exhibition. Yes, they went to an art exhibition." He's like, uh, what? And he's like, yes, they're at the art show. Exclusive club at the art show. He's like, what? Okay, fucking whatever. Like, okay, take me there. So they drive him, they start driving, so Natalia, the brunette, is driving, and they have their friend who's like a cabbie driver. And he's like he drives the two to like the warehouse, and like I said earlier, like the windows are knocked out on the warehouse, some are boarded up, like it's like fucking broken down. It's really far out from like the town. It's super super far. It's this huge warehouse, um, and it's like there's some security guards around with like weapons and shit. But as they drive, Paxton sees the tower. That he sees the tower that that Ogi and Kana's friend took like a picture in front of. So he's like, huh, like this is kind of fucked up. Um, so before we continue there, or with the main plot, the first on-screen kill happens before Paxton wakes up, and it's of Josh. This kill was like this scene was really fucked, and it also showed the energy like of everything in the series. It did a very good job of keeping like the energy and what the main series is about. Like this is the part that's this is where we like start showing what the Hostel series is about, or like what it's supposed to be known for. This is the identity of the series. So Josh wakes up in this room. He's like tied to this rusty chair. He's got like a bag over his head with like a hole in it. Um, he's like fucking like muffled. He's very obviously panicked. He's like looking around the room. He sees like a table with a shit ton of like power tools on it. It's like a fold up table with power tools. He sees one with like some surgical tools and shit. His like bag gets taken off his head. He sees the chicken finger guy from earlier, like the train scene. Um, Josh is like fucking screaming. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? What the fuck is happening? This scene of Josh, like the POV of Josh, because there's like a POV shot of like Josh's head in the bag, and like there's a hole in the bag. This scene is really good in the sense of getting the viewer stressed and like the stressed and like in the same like panicked mode. I think like seeing this in theater, I think would have like elevated this scene a lot. I watched all these movies on DVD, but like I think this scene would have done been amazing in the theater. It was very good still, even on DVD. But like I can't even imagine the theater experience. I think it would have been amazing because it throws the viewer very harshly into like this scene of him of just like a POV with a bag and a hole in it, and all he sees is just like these tools of torture, like these tools of like torture or like possibly for torture. Like he has no idea what he's doing here. He has no idea where he is. He's like only got like his fucking boxers on, but he's like looking around, scared out of his fucking mind, and it's like very good in putting the viewer into the like shoes and the mindset of like just you don't know what the fuck is happening, and it's fucking like it's just whew, it's very good. So Chicken Finger guys takes off his like helmet. or not his helmet, his bag off of Josh's head. Josh basically is like screaming for mercy, like I got money, I'll pay you. Why are you doing this? Like what did I do to you? Fucking help me. So like just let me go, please. He's like I won't fucking tell anyone. And the actor who played Josh, I don't know his name, but the actor who played Josh was really good in that scene. It was kind of like I think it was very like ah man like this fucking like this sucks because it's like if you know again, like going into the movie blind, you're like you're also thinking like what the fuck is happening. If you're going into the movie with like the notion of you know what has happened or you know what's going to happen, you're like fuck because it's just like you know like what he's saying and doing is pointless. Like he has no there's no everything that he's saying and doing is fruitless and it's like ah, damn. Um so chicken finger guy picks up like a drill and like drills like holes in which is like if that's pretty like I can't imagine the pain. He drills like a hole in his like shoulder and like his legs and his like somewhere on his chest. It's just kind of like we don't see all the holes he drills. We just see like the one shot of him drilling like the leg, his like thigh, and then it like cuts to the table and it's like Josh just screams. Then we like cut back to him. Josh has got like some holes in him and shit. He's like, fuck. He's like, ah, fuck. Jesus Christ. Um, then Chicken Finger guy decides to start talking, and he's like, he just kind of starts talking to Josh. He's like, oh, I hate doing he's basically explaining why he's doing this, like specifically. He's like, I hate just doing like business. Like I hate being like a rich business owner because it's boring. I like money comes in, money goes out. It's all boring. I hate business. I hate like it's very boring. It's grueling. I always wanted. He's like I always wanted to be a surgeon but I can't because like look at this. He like puts his like gloved hands up to Josh and he's like shaking like he's fucking shaking like he is like in the Arctic, like he's shivering. Um and it's like he's just like I can't become a surgeon because it's like when I fucking cut people or when I'm doing like any of the things like I get so excited I cannot control myself. Um so that is like that was that's a pretty nice scene. He also has this part where he's like um fuck yeah he also has this part where he talks about like why he wanted to be a surgeon because he's like people I will never be as close to someone as when their like life is in my hands. Like being a surgeon would have given me that. Like you're like someone whoever's on my operating table, their life would have been in my hands. Like I could choose between life or death between them. I like it's like a small moment of being a god. Um so Josh is like not really listening obviously because he's just like fucking let me go. So the guy's like, "Okay, you want me to let you go?" And this shit, oh my god, whoo, this fucking next scene was like, um, when I saw it, I was like, I could like feel it in my body. Like when I imagine, when I imagine certain things, it's like sometimes I can almost like, it's almost like my body can feel it when I'm imagining it. Like if I imagine accidentally cutting myself with a knife, it's like fuck, I can I feel like almost like I get like a tingle in my body, like where it's like oh I like it's almost like it was real, like it's almost like it was real kind of thing. So this next scene was fucked in that sense. So the surgeon picks up a scalpel. He goes behind Josh. Ah, fuck. He cuts his Achilles. Oh, like he cuts it deep, dude. And it's like when I saw it, I was like, ah, fuck. It's like I felt it. Like I almost felt it right in my feet. Like right when that shit happened, I was like, whew, oh my god, I almost felt that shit for real. Like whew, that was fucked up. So then he like uncuffs Josh. He like unties him, and then like opens the door, and it's like, okay, you're free to go, like a dickhead. Josh like tries to walk, falls obviously, starts like crawling, like the music starts ramping up and it's like thumping, and it's like getting more tense as Josh is crawling. He doesn't even like make it. He makes it like 5 or so feet away, maybe. Um, but Chicken Fingers like like steps in front of him, closes the door. Josh is like fucking like crying and like pleading. The guy like picks Josh's neck up, like fucking makes him look into a mirror, and then he like cuts Josh's neck open, and like Josh fucking like falls dead. Um, but that whole scene was really fucking, just really god, and it like gets you into the mindset immediately of what's happening. Um, but the thing I did like about most of the kills that happened was that like you don't know that they take place in the warehouse. Like they don't show you. It's just like this room. It's just like a room that has like no light, like that has like one light above it, like a hanging light, no windows or no other sign of where you are or like what is happening. Um so Paxton shows up at the warehouse where this is happening. And there's like a bunch of rich looking people outside. Um who have like personal drivers. There's like the Slavic guards, but a lot of them are they're big money people essentially. Josh then like walks and like as he's walking, he's like he stops one of the guys who is this Japanese horror director. Uh, fuck, I just forgot his name. I can't remember his name now. Um, he's a very good horror director. He makes some Japan J horror movies. I need to check those out someday, but uh, he makes really good horror movies from what I've heard. Um, but he has this small scene because Eli Roth, the director of this movie, was a big fan of him and a big fan of a lot of other like movie stars and directors who show up in Hostel 2. Um, but basically, Josh stops the guy, and he's like, "Hey, what's it like in there?" And then the guy gives another one of those like funny but not really supposed to be, where he's like, "In there, you could lose all your money. In there, you could spend every dollar in there." And Pax is like, uh, "Okay." So he walks in. And there's like it's just like this like shitty torn down factor like warehouse. There's like a booth with a guy in there listening to some music, and then Pac's like, "How much is it?" And he's like, "For you, my friend, free." And like it's just one of those like it's just one of those like you know what he's walking into and you're like, fuck. And Pax is obviously like getting suspicious, but like this is the only place where this is the only lead he has onto where his like friends are. So he's just gonna like he's like fuck it, you know, like I guess I gotta go in there, like regardless of any danger signs that are like blaring in my head. So he goes in there. Natalia follows behind him. And like as he's walking down, he like turns a corner and sees Chicken Finger playing like surgeon on Josh's corpse. He's got like the body like cut open and like the skin is like held open like he's performing surgery essentially. And he's just like plopping his organs around and shit. Pax is like, "Oh, what?" He's like fucking like he's just like, "Oh my god, this is so fucked up. Like this is just so unbelievably fucked up." So so he so he fuck what was it? Yeah, so he turns around to Natalia and it's like, "Fuck you, like you bitch, you fucking killed like my friend Josh is dead. Why'd you fucking like took me here, you tricked me." Um, Natalia is like, I make good money off you, so essentially that makes you my bitch." Um, so Paxton gets like hit like fucking grabbed by these two guards and starts getting like dragged. And like as he's getting dragged, he sees like these rooms like with other people in them getting tortured. Um, which it does a good job of like putting into scope how many other people are there, and it's like within the universe it does a good job of like showing just like how fucked up it is, like just like how many people are there and how many people are gonna go are like going through the same fate and shit. Like one is getting like fucking like electrocuted, the other's like chained up, like being like suspended from the ceiling, getting like fucking stabbed or like poked and prodded. I can't remember, but like shit like that. It's just like a bunch of really fucked up like people just these people getting tortured, and it's like some of them could be like just like very like nice or like very like just like innocent people. Some of them could be innocent, and like the others, like who knows what could be like, who knows? But it's just really fucked up. Um, Paxton gets dragged into this room. He gets like chained up. They like fucking I don't think they bag him. They might bag him, but anyways, this German guy walks into the room to like torture him. Paxton starts speaking in German to him, which was established earlier in the movie that Paxton knows German. Um, so the guy fucking orders like a ball gag. He starts like uh fucking with Paxton. Paxton starts throwing up because he's like scared of shit. Um, and the German guy takes off Paxton's ball gag, picks up a chainsaw, decides to get a running start for some reason. He cuts like Paxton's two fingers off, which is like, oh man, fuck. Paxton like Paxton gets loose from the chair, and like fucking it ends with him killing the German guy. He kills the German guy. A security guard walks in. Paxton kills him too, and like takes his gun. So now starts like the Paxton escape scene where he's like running around trying to like escape. He ends up like hiding on this trolley of dead bodies, um where he gets taken to this like room where this guy is like chopping up the bodies and putting them into a furnace, and while he's there he sees like Josh's like corpse and like makes eye contact with it and is like staring at it, and it's just really like, ah, man, like fuck, dude. Like, cause it's just like, like that was like his like best friend and shit. So it's just like, it's like just thinking about it like gets me. Um, so the butcher guy ends up taking the bodies to this like furnace thing, and burning them. Paxton like fucking kills his ass with like a meat tenderizer or something. Escapes upstairs to where the like CEOs or like the business, like the torturers essentially are, um, and finds this card that's like it's for a hunting club, and the movie refers to them as like a hunting club or like the elite or like the organization is how they're referred to, but it's essentially like this huge like web of like people who human traffic people, and then uh they like, and then like CEOs or like business, just really rich people pay to like, they bid to like torture them, and then they like go and and then they go into the room to do the torturing essentially. um the owner of it is this guy named Sasha, who I kind of like as a character. I think he's kind of minor in this. He shows up in the second movie. He's kind of minor, but like you get a good vibe and read off of who he is and like what he's about in the second movie. Enough for me to say that like I like him as a character. He's evil, but fucking whatever. Um, so yeah, Paxton then ends up talking like he like put like dresses up in this like this fucking person's clothes. The guy he killed, I'm pretty sure. This other random business guy shows up, starts talking to Paxton. He's just like, "Oh, what a rush! Like I paid so much money for it. Like I paid this money and shit, all these things." Um, and they also show that uh they also show that like they all go for different money. So like Americans cost the most, like torture, kill. Then it's Asians, I believe. Then it's like Europeans. It's like 25,000, 15,000, 10,000. It's like but it's just like it's like a really like fucked up like oh man, like this is kind of like how they view it, this dehumanization of people to just like a service to pay for, which kind of leads into the main point of the movie in a sense. Um, but we'll get there once you understand the plot fully. So the guy basically ends up like, hey, so Paxton, who I don't know is Paxton. How should I like do it? Should I do it quick or should I like take my time with it? And Paxton is like, make it quick. Like just like in their suffering real fast. Which is just like a nice little character moment. Um, so Paxton like gets out and he is at the car. He's like at a car that he can like take to leave. And as he's about to leave, he hears Kana like screaming. And it's like there's like about like 20 seconds of him like turning back around looking at the warehouse, looking at the car, and it's like just showing the conflict of like freedom is right here and I can just go, like I could just go and be out of this actual like hell, but he decides to turn around and like risk everything just to see if he can save Kana, which is a very nice character moment. um so he winds up in there, finds Kana and the guy is like got a blowtorch to like Kana's like right side of her and is like burning her fucking like the right side of her face. Um, but Paxton shoots the guy, killing him. He like frees Kana. Kana's like fucking screaming and shit because she just got fucking blowtorched in the face. Um, and her like eye is like her like eyes like it's all like burnt up, but her like right eye is like hanging out by like a thread. And it's really fucked up. But Paxton's like, I gotta fucking get rid of this thing. Like it's I gotta just get rid of it. So he like cuts it off with a scissor, and this like yellow pus fucking like shoots out of it. It's like, oh, dude, what? Fuck. It's like, it's so goddamn gross. Um, but they escape. They get in the car. They like kind of like drive away. Um, and then like Paxton kind of has like a realization that like everyone is in on the organization, like everyone in Slovakia is kind of like tied to it. Like the cops are tied, the fucking people on the street, like the street people on the streets are tied, the hotel like people were tied to it. uh and as he's driving, he finds first he gets at the car and like the bubblegum kids show up. So he like looks into the passenger seat and there's like a fucking huge bag of bubblegum. He gives that to the kids and the kids like stop the organization, some of the workers for the organization who are chasing him. Um, and like they fucking like stop those guys and like beat them to death, which is crazy. um, then just fuck, what was I saying? Um, God damn it, I lost my train of thought. Um, fuck. This is probably gonna be like really frustrating to listen to because it's like, oh hey, I know exactly what you were talking about while I sit here trying to figure it the fuck out. Oh yeah, the Bubblegum Kids. We'll just start back at the Bubblegum Kid part where the Bubblegum Kids get paid by Paxton. The fucking people from the organization show up, and the Bubblegum Kids stop them. The guys get out the car, and then the Bubblegum Kids basically just beat the fuck out of them, beat them to death. So then Paxton and Connor are like driving, and as they're here driving, they find Paxton sees Natalia, the blonde, and then the one guy from like near the beginning of the movie that like told him to go to Slovakia, and they're like all talking and trade like talking. So Paxton's like, "Oh, you were all in on it, you fucking scum." So he like drives, fucking runs them over, kills them. As they're like driving, there's like uh stop, like police stop. I forget what those are called, like a blockage. But they're basically checking IDs to see if it's Paxton and Kana because the police, are tied to the organization, of course. Um, let's see. What So Paxton and Kana abandon the car. They wind up back at the train station. There's like people looking around for them, but as they're like going, like Kana sees her like reflection in the mirror and is like sees her like burnt, fucked up right side of her face, and she's just like fucked. It's like I can't do this shit. So like a train comes and like she commits suicide by train, and it's just a really like it's a really sad scene, and it's done really well. And they cut back to the spot Paxton was hiding back at, and he like disappears. He's like he escapes. He made it onto the train. Um, and yeah, so Paxton escapes onto the train, and like you think it's almost done, but he's kind of like he's like holding himself. He's like holding his fucking himself as he's like kind of like trying not to bleed out. And the end credit of the scene, or the end credit of the movie, I mean, the ending scene of the movie, as Paxton is like on another train heading out, and he overhears some people talking in the train, and it's the same like little speech that Chicken Finger earlier gave, where he's like, "Oh, like I eat food with my fingers because I believe humanity has lost their touch with food and the things they eat." Um, and Paxton's like, "Oh, I know who you are." So he follows him into like the bathroom. He like drops the hunting company card, the organization card, onto the floor. The chicken finger guy's like, uh-oh. So Paxton like cuts the guy's fucking fingers off when he reaches for the card. Then he like breaks into the bathroom, stabs him sometimes, like drowns him, starts like drowning him in the like toilet. Pulls him out, like makes him look at Paxton, and then he fucking kills the guy. Then Paxton leaves the bathroom. He gets back onto the train, and I believe that is where the movie ends. Um, so in short, with Hostel 1, uh, it was very, very good. I really liked it. Um, I really, really liked Hostel 1. I thought it was a very good, like, I thought it was a very good film. The main purpose of it, which is the like, kind of, I'm trying to find the right word for it, but essentially, we're like the movie is a critique on or like a critique on people like Paxton and Josh and Augie, where those three would essentially, pay a fee, go into a room and do whatever they wanted, or do whatever they wanted with the women in the room. Where here Paxton and Josh or like Paxton, Josh, and Ogie are the recipients now of, I think my audio just got fucked a little, but are the recipients of the same treatment they put other people through, kind of thing. Where like someone you don't know is paying to go into a room and do essentially whatever they want with you. Of course, it's more fatal to them, but the energy is there of it being the same. It is like a critique on that kind of like culture where you are like going to a room, and like it's almost as if the person in the room is not human, but this is how you view, but it's more based on how you view sex workers. I know like the views of in the general public eye have increased on sex work and sex workers, but of the time of this movie, which was 2005, I believe, um it's not really like it was, of course, obviously different. So, in that sense, I think it did very good. Another thing that I critique horror movies on will always be uh of course the scare factor. Like a horror movie's goal in my eyes will always be to make you the viewer scared of something, to make you scared of a certain thing. Like maybe an idea, or maybe just something in general, just something. Like Jaws made people scared of the ocean. Nobody went into the fucking beach for like months after Jaws dropped. Like I think there was some reports of like certain like beaches not seeing as many visitors after Jaws came out. Even though I'm not really a horror movie, but you get the idea. Final Fantasy 2, not Final Fantasy, what the fuck? Final Destination 2 came out. And to this day, people still make comments and jokes about not being behind a log truck because of that movie, because of the opening scene of that movie. Like, like the horror movies need that is the main goal of a horror movie is to make you afraid of something. When a stranger calls, like any of that needs to be the end goal of any good horror movie. So in this movie, Hostel 1, afterwards, even though like obviously like Slovakia is nothing like this movie describes, it's fantasy. Like Slovakia is not like this. Um, it's a very nice place actually. I've never been, but I hear it's a very nice place. Um, but the thing, uh, that got me was like it didn't make me afraid of traveling, but the idea of like being out or like being somewhere and then like just disappear, like essentially disappearing, um, and like your loved ones and the people don't know what happened, but you are stuck in a room with some stranger who has so many instruments of like or instruments or means of torture or hurting you, and there is like nothing you can do, even like, and even if you bled, beg or plead, it will not stop them from doing like whatever their goal is, and you don't know what there is, like you don't know what the intention is, um, like that is like the idea of that is terrifying. It's like that is the horror aspect to me. Like that is the horror of Hostel. uh and like just also the idea of like these people who are trying to be or seeming to be kind are all in on uh like are all in on you ending up in this situation. Like like the idea of that is just so like that kind of that gets me in the horror aspect of it. So it's very good in that sense. Um, it's very like I'm trying to figure out the words for it, but it's very good in that horror sense of it, and like also just like the your friends kind of disappearing or like you are in like you were out you were far away from home and like the people that you were friends with are like slowly disappearing and you don't know what happened to them. It's just really very terrifying. I know it's a reality that a lot of people have faced, which is like like if my heart goes out to them because it's just so like it's fucking terrible. It's just terrible to imagine going through it, so I couldn't even imagine like it actually happening. um but Hostel 1 is very, very good in that sense, and it's also good in the sense of Hostel has a very strong identity. Gonna get to the third one. Hostel has a very strong identity in the way it shows itself. Like the way it's filmed, the effects and filters used on it, the way like the when the movie gets to like those like like the torture scenes and shit, like the effects kind of like get there. But like I definitely wouldn't recommend it. Like if you feel like you're squeamish, don't watch these movies. Like obviously they're like torture movies at a certain point. Like they just turn into torture movies. Don't watch these movies if you're squeamish. Um, if you are a fan of the horror genre or feel like there are some like horror classics that or like horror movies that you feel like watching, I definitely recommend Hostel. You probably might have seen it, but I definitely recommend Hostel. I may might it's not like it's scary, but not in the same sense of like modern horror of like the jump scares and shit. Like the horror comes from like its concept in the if this was me ideal. or like if that happened to me, which it does, which is obviously the intent because of the way they like try to make all the scenes and everything happening and make you kind of take it's the characters are another stand-in for you as a viewer to see yourself through. That's why there's so many different POV shots of like first person shots, or why there's so many, yeah, like why there's so many POV shots, or like so many close shots of the characters. It's like the intention is for you to take a stand in as the characters, or for you to imagine yourself in their scenario. So in that, I think it does very well. Hostel 2, uh, I don't think I'm going to cover the entire plot of Hostel 2 because I'll just do like cliff notes. But it's essentially the same. It's the same intention. So like you already know what is happening. Um, so Hostel 2 this time opens on like the fate of Paxton, which I really hate when movies do this, and I also think it kind of sucks in this movie. I get the intention, but I also think it kind of sucks. But Paxton kind of wakes up from a nightmare and shit. He's in his house with his girlfriend, wife, I think. He's basically like, I'm still traumatized. Like, nobody knows we're staying at your, like, dead grandma's place or something. Because I'm fucking paranoid about the organization. His girlfriend's like, okay, chill out, lol. um, not literally, but next morning comes. She goes downstairs to find Paxton's like decapitated head, and then the scene kind of just ends. Um, which kind of makes you think like what happened to the girlfriend. Um, I wish like the intention is like the organization is everywhere, and there's no real escaping. Like even getting out of the facility is not escaping the organization. You are once they got you, like once they are locked onto you, the only way to get out is to either escape before they've like fully gotten you in a sense of like leaving, but like Hostel 2 shows like you're kind of like there is a certain point where you can get out, and if you don't take it you're finished. Like it's over and you might not even notice it. Like Hostel 2 is very good in that sense. I had to take water. So our main characters this time are three women. It's Beth, whose mom passed away, and she was like a super billionaire. So, and like she left all her money to her daughter. So Beth has like a shit ton of money. Her friend Whitney, who's like the like sassy blonde, literally trope, and then her cousin Lana, who's kind of like nerdy, like a like slightly nerdy geek, I think is the thing. She's pretty like I think she just has autism. Like she's so like she's very autistic coded, but they don't say she's autistic. But like I don't know. Like if you watch the movie, you'll probably pick it up. It is so like maybe it's just like implied and they just wouldn't say it because for whatever reason. But it's just like there. It's there. Um. So those are three mains. So they end up on this like train. They show like like they like go on a train again, whatever. Um, Lana gets is like in the cab like her cabin on the train alone. This like random guy who's a part of like the scheme for the organization shows up, takes Lana's iPod. This other random woman, then this random woman who they don't know, named I don't remember her name. We'll call her Beauty Mark because she has a beauty mark on her lower lip. Um, Beauty Mark shows up, returns the iPod, and you're like, oh, that's nice of her. But if you've seen Hostel 1, which assuming you've had obviously because it's a sequel, you're going, oh, this is a part of the scheme, isn't it? Which they say later, but yeah, it's pretty clear it's part of the scheme. Um, So they wind up in the hostel again. The front office desk guy who looks like the Riddler is back, reprising his role. Um, He like takes their passports, he scans them in, and they show this scene which is really good for the world building of the movie, where like when the passports scan, they get uploaded to this website, and like all these like business looking like really rich like people like guys on a yacht. There's like a woman in like her like huge suite. There's a guy in like a board meeting. There's a guy playing golf with only evil rich people play golf. Okay, so obviously there's a guy playing like golf or some shit. It's just very like it's a good montage of these people like bidding on which woman to like torture or like fuck up kind of thing. Which is like it's like the concept is really just like when you're watching it as like a movie, it's like, oh, this is just like this is fiction. Like it's a movie, so it's like none of this is real or like none of this is happening. But then like as a concept thinking about it, it's like fuck, this is fucked. Um so uh so that scene happens. We mainly follow alongside our three main women. We follow these two guys, two of the torturers. One is named Scott, who's like this like hyper masculine like alpha male kind of guy. And then his friend named Stuart. Scott is kind of just like the entire time as they're like building up to like getting to the torture scene or like to them like getting to torture the women. Scott is like basically like, what are you, a pussy, Stuart? Come on, we paid for the fucking service. Come on, we gotta do this shit. We paid for the service. Another thing too is that anyone involved in the organization as like just whatever, like anyone involved in the organization that isn't a victim has to get this tattoo of a hunting dog on them. And like the scene, like Scott gets his, and he's like flexing his arms and shit. Then Stewart has to get his, and Stewart's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this. Um, but he like gets the fucking tattoo. It's not that important. It's just a little funny. Um, but all the people in the organization have to get this like hunting dog tattoo. So the first kill of like the victims is Lana, who gets a really like she gets kind of fucked up, and it's really sad because it's like she didn't deserve it, and she was like, she didn't deserve it, and she was just like one of the nicer characters, which I think is the start of this, like not the start, but it's like one of the moments of the series where it's kind of like it shows like the organization is like really fucked and they don't really care who you are or like the person that you are. um but like so it does well in like the sense of the world building and the organization, but it's like as a person, you're like, oh, this is kind of fucked up, man. Oh man, like this is fucked up. um so then fuck, what's the name? Yeah, so that's like the first one. She dies. She gets killed. So the way she dies is like this woman walks into the room, uh and she's like naked. Both of them are naked actually, but Lana is like held up by her like feet, like chained up and like held upside down. And then this woman walks in. She picks up this fucking like this farming scythe and just like starts like cutting like Lana like on her back and shit, like poking her, cutting her and shit. And she's like bathing in her blood. And then like eventually at the end of it, she like cuts Lana's throat open. And that's how she dies. Um, yeah, it's just a really like, oh, man, like she didn't deserve that shit. That's fucked up, bro. Like that's messed up. Um, as far as like, cause at least like the one thing about Hostel 2 that I can't give Hostel 1 is that Hostel 2 had more of like something it was trying to say or something it was trying to convey. I'm not sure what it is in Hostel 2. Like I watched Hostel 1 and 2 yesterday, and I've watched Hostel 3 today. So I'm not fully sure on what it is Hostel 2 has. It might just be horror for the sake of horror. Like it might just be what it is for the sake of being what it is, kind of thing. Like yeah, like it's fucking like after the first two Halloween movies, they just made Halloween to be Halloween. Like fucking Friday the 13th kind of fell into the same thing. Um, like it's just horror for the sake of horror. So that might just be it, but I don't know. I'd have to think about it some more. So Whitney and Beth get kidnapped and taken, uh, and um they're in the torture rooms. The other thing too about Hostel 2 is that uh the factory, mainly the factory, or the warehouse, I mean, it's the same location, but it's like upgraded since the first movie, which I think is kind of cool, because like it's like, oh, like Paxton got out so easily, we got to make sure that can't happen again. Um, so the thing about the warehouse is that like the rooms now are like huge, they're much bigger. They're like much bigger rooms. The like tools are like put in these like nice little areas. Some are kind of like hung up. The dressing room is like everything apart about it looks much nicer. Um, I guess my main issue is with the rooms. I think because it's just like I don't know. I feel like it gets away from that like terrifying like factory feeling of like factory feeling that the first one established so well. I feel like I'm on fucking vacation, where I should be like scared. Like I feel like I should be scared kind of thing. Um, but you know you're like okay like it's minor. It's not a huge issue. It doesn't stop the movie from being unwatchable or anything, but it's minor. It's just like an issue I had with it. Most people, some people, and not most people, but you know, other people might disagree. Some might agree, but I had an issue with it. So, uh, so Stewart's in his room. He like because they had a scene earlier, like a scene where Stewart and Beth talked, and they were like, oh, yada yada, like Stewart just kind of introduced himself to Beth because he knew he was gonna torture her later. But Stewart talks to Beth. Beth's dressed up to look kind of like his wife because he's like living out the fantasy of torturing his wife. So he frees Beth and is like, okay, we're gonna get out of here. Like I don't want to do this. Let's get out of here. And like as Beth is looking for an exit, this scene is really nice. It's like where he like just says, I'm not that guy, like at first when he frees Beth and like the I'm not that guy to torture you, or I'm not the guy to be this super sadist that wants to fucking harm people. But as he's going on, it turns into basically I'm not that guy that is going to free you and like feel this strong regret and wants to help you. So he like knocks Beth out, ties it like puts her back in the chair. Then Scott has Whitney. So Scott is torturing Whitney. Scott is like has this like power saw or something in his hand, like a hand saw. Um, it's like pretending like he's like taunting Whitney while she's like sitting in the chair, and then uh, another sip of water, and then like he like fucks up, moves too quickly, like cuts like half of Whitney's face up, and then like pulls her like scalp in. And it's like like it like pulls her like brain off, and it's like exposing not brain, her skull, and it's like showing a little bit of her brain. It's like oh, it was really nice makeup and VFX, really nice practical effects. Um, so Scott is like, he's like, oh, what the fuck? He like turns like completely. Um, it does follow the same thing of Hostel 1 of like these terrible people are not or like all these people are like people are not black and white. So I guess in that sense it's saying something. Like it's saying something in that sense. It just pushes that agenda more of like people are not black and white and these people some people are not who they seem to be. So like Scott does it. He like leaves the room. Uh Another thing too about that this movie showcases much better is that the organization is so much more put together and is like full on. Like the warehouse has like a million cameras. There is like a security room where the guards control everything, control like the doors and shit. There's like cameras all over the place. like there is a setup in the system. There is like or like the organization is organized, um, essentially. So Scott leaves the room, uh, and like one of the guys walks in is like, "Hey, you need you pay you kill girl you gotta kill the girl essentially like don't." And Scott's like, "Oh, just pay someone else to kill her. I'm fucking done. I'm going. I fucking paid my money, so like I'm going." Um, he goes into the elevator and he's like having this like full on breakdown. He's like, Jesus fuck, like now he doesn't like it's not dialogue, but it's essentially just like him going, Jesus fuck, this is terrible. Oh my god. Like what did I do? Um and when the elevator opens, these guys at the end of the hall release these like fucking dogs on him and he gets like mauled to death. They don't show the full thing, but he gets like mauled to death. So they bandage Whitney up because she didn't die, and then they essentially go around like selling, trying to like sell like oh special offer if you want to kill this girl because like we can make more money. Um, and it shows like two scenes of like different like horror directors and actors I think for him, but one scene in particular that got me was this guy in it was this Italian guy, and in this room, he's got this like side character guy that Whitney was trying to bang earlier. He's not really that important enough to mention, but he's got him. His like right leg up to the like thigh is missing, and his left leg has like the skin like cut off of it, and then like the fucking Italian guy is eating him alive. Um, and again, the practical effects were so good for it because they like, they use like actual meat. I think they use like pig and chicken meat, I think, or something along those lines. But they use like actual meat for it and shit. And it was like, ah, like oh my god, just like the look and the thought of that happening is just so, whew, fuck. Like that one definitely got me. That one got me the worst. Um, so eventually they get to Stewart. Stewart is like, yeah, sure. They have like a picture of Whitney's like bandaged up body or some shit. Stewart's like, yeah, sure, I'll take the deal. He like takes the picture, goes into his room with Beth, and is like, hey, Beth, look, your friend's getting tortured right now, and I'm gonna go fucking like finish the job. So he kills her, comes back, kills Whitney, comes back, has like a necklace she wore, and puts it on her fucking neck, and I was just like, God, that's super sadistic. Like that is super sadistic. Um, it's just like, oh, fucking, like, ultra sadistic. So Stewart is like punching Beth and like fucking her up, and he's like, basically just like yelling at his transgressions with his wife at her, essentially, like she's a stand-in for his wife from her like from before. Um, Beth like plays into it, like to like fucking like get him into a false sense of security, like plays into it. She ends up getting him to like uncuff her, like gets out, gets out, beats the fuck out of him, ties him to the chair, and is like, then a security guard comes in because she like takes out the camera in the room. She gets the security guard's gun, and then like all the security comes in. So she's got him like she's got like these like scissor, like they're like I think they're scissors. They're like tweezers, I guess, like super fucking tweezers. They're like huge, but they're like the same thing as scissors. I don't know if it pliers, maybe, like something along that. Like they're kind of like pliers. Um, she's literally got him by the dick. Like got like fucking dick and balls in like the weird like scissor things. Has got a gun, and she's like, I want to fucking negotiate. So Sasha, this guy shows up. Um, he's the lead. He's like the head of the organization. He owns everything. So like everything is under his command. He shows up and he has like one of my character tropes that I really like is always gonna be like the business guy or like the businessman trope essentially. Um, so like I love that trope. I love the just like I like it a lot. Uh, so Sasha shows up. and he's like okay, he's like you want to negotiate, you want to negotiate, you probably got, he's like basically you can't afford it, like you can't afford your freedom. And he's like I yes I can. uh I was like yes I can. Like I can't afford it. I got $1 million fucking. Beth has this scene where she's like, I like give me a Swift bank, uh, like give me a Swift bank, a fucking like a pin number and like a fake and a name, and I can do it. I have banks like all like I have a Swedish account. I got like an offshore account because like my mom's a super billionaire. Um, and so Sasha's just like, okay. Stewart is like in the chair. It's like you can't fucking let her do that shit, bro. I paid. It's like this is business, not brotherhood. She pays more than you. I just really like this scene because it like just puts into perspective how like this guy is so money like oriented, and this shit makes him all the money. Like this makes him a shit ton of money. Um, so if one of the people that he's torturing can pay, then he'll take it. Like he'll pay. Um, like if they can pay, then they pay. But then he has this other line where he's like, "But before you do, there's a contract. Like anyone who comes in here cannot leave without killing someone." So Beth's like, maybe. I like they kind of do it in like an odd way where like I feel like she would like if he said that I don't think maybe this is just me because if the super sadist who was torturing me came back, said he was gonna kill my friend, came back, made me wear a piece of my friend's jewelry or like a clothing item that I knew they had, I wouldn't fucking hesitate to do it. So then the guy, Stewart in the chair, is like just like you stupid fucking bitch, you cunt, which was like pre-set up as like a word that like Beth hates hearing or like hates being called. So she's like, "What the fuck did you say?" As he like looks at her, or as she looks at him, and then he like says it again. So she's like she gets pissed off, literally like rips his fucking like crotch off, like his dick and balls both go, rips it off, tosses it to some fucking dogs. The dogs eat it, and he's like screaming his head off, bleeding out. And she like walks out. She's like, "Let him bleed to death." Um, and it's just like this scene, but it's also kind of cool. It's also kind of cool because like the guards at like see it and they're like, haha, like they laugh and they're like, this girl's fucking awesome. Like it's really fucking funny in that sense. But Sasha like is like, okay. So Beth ends up getting like her hunting dog tattoo on her back. Um, and and then like yeah, Beth gets her hunting dog tattoo on her back, and she's in the organization now. Um, she finds the woman who told them to go to Slovakia and hung out with them. Beauty Mark. She finds Beauty Mark, who kind of fucked with her a lot. Uh, and like gets the bubblegum kids. They showed up again. The bubblegum kids to fucking like steal the woman's purse, lead her into the woods where Beth kills her, and then the bubblegum kids play soccer with her head, and that is where the movie ends. That like last scene was really funny. Um, fuck. All right, I gotta. My fucking throat is starting to kill me. That last scene was really funny and very, very, very good. I liked it a lot. But that's essentially where the movie ends. There's a lot more, but I didn't go through it scene by scene because that'd be another hour, and I really want to talk about the third movie. Um, but after so yeah, so it's like Hostel 2 was really good. They don't really follow, they don't follow what Scream says to do. The sequel's got to have more kills. I was kind of hoping instead of like three, because we had the three main guys in the first one, and they decided to go for two in the sequel, or they decided to go for three main women in the sequel. I wish it was a group of women. Like we wouldn't really get to know the characters as well, so I guess that might have been it. Like the character, and this movie was definitely shorter than the first one. Um, so maybe those two constraints stop them from doing it. But if it was longer, I would have liked them to put more characters into it, so we could have gotten a higher kill count at the end of like our main group. Um, which kind of sounds fucked up because it sounds like I'm like begging for more people to get tortured. But horror. Come on, people go to horror movies for the kills as well as the scares. Let's be real. Um, so fucking hell, I gotta clean my ear a little. So and also Beth is my favorite character. Like, I mean, Paxton was really cool, but they fucking killed him in the sequel, dickheads. So Beth is now my favorite character. She was great. I loved her a lot. I want to make a character based off of her now, kinda, because she's just really cool. I liked her energy. I liked her as a character, and her personality was very nice. I liked that she was very sweet and caring towards Whitney and Lena, and like just this overall very nice person. But like if push comes to shove, she could be like extremely sadistic and cruel. I really like a character like that. Um, very like a very interesting character to me. Unfortunately, actually fortunately, she doesn't show up in Hostel 3. So, Hostel 3 is not produced by Quentin Tarantino and not directed by Eli Roth, I don't believe. It's also a straight to DVD release, and the production companies that were a part of the first two are nowhere to be seen on this one. Hostel 3 follows four friends who go to Vegas for like the main character whose name is Scott as well. For Scott's we'll call him Scott 3 because Hostel 3. So Scott three's bachelor party, because apparently he got found cheating on his wife one time. She forgave him for some reason, and he came back, and now they're getting married again, and he's going to apparently he thought he was going to Santa Monica, but his friend is actually taking him to Las Vegas, where he meets up with his two other friends. One is Justin. He's got uh I don't know if it's the current medical term or not, but one of his legs is fucked up, so he can't like he's got to use a crutch. Um, so Justin, uh, there's Mike, who's this like blonde asshole who fits the criteria for hostile characters much more. Whitney fits it as well because Whitney's kind of quote unquote a bitch in the movie. That's what they call her. Um, Within the movie, they call her a bitch. So she's kind of an asshole. She's still nice, but she's kind of an asshole. Um, and Lena, who was just kind of like nice and like chill. But this movie doesn't do the like. It's not like the same way of like the organization doesn't give a fuck about who you are kind of thing. They just want to kill you. That they do in Hostel 2. And but it also doesn't fully do the Hostel 1 of like watching assholes get killed. So you're kind of like it's like a weird middle ground of like they're kind of assholes but kind of not. But like I guess it fits the overall theme of the movie, but it's weird. The identity of the movie is not there. And it's apparent from the second they enter Vegas. The camera quality is worse. The sets are not the same. The characters don't follow the hostile formula. The setup doesn't follow the hostile formula. Everything about the movie doesn't really make much sense. The plot doesn't make much sense. A lot of things don't add up, making it a worse off experience. So so we'll just cut the fluff and filler, essentially. So Mike is like a bad character. He's kind of like a racist. He thinks his wife is fat because she gained like 30 pounds or something. He's like a dickhead to his wife. He's like a terrible character. He's kind of nice to his friends. Justin is like chill. He's fine. Like Justin is a good guy. And like Justin is just like a good guy in this movie. And then the last one is Josh, who's like this blonde. Another Josh and another Scott. Josh is like this blonde guy, and Mike is also blonde. And then Justin 3 is a he's a brunette, I think, or something. Whatever. So uh so essentially like They go to this club for the bachelor party. Mike ends up like staying with this sex worker named Katie, I think. Kitty? Katie. Well, I think it's Katie. But the rest of the guys kind of like fuck off. So Mike is like pulled into this. Mike is like in this. Wakes up in this like. They have these like weird like they're like shipping containers with prison bars on them. Basically, is like the best way to describe them. It's like really shittily like it's just like it doesn't make sense for the organization because in the first two movies, either A, in the first movie they were kidnapped and then they were in the room. There was no this or that. They were kidnapped and then put into the room. In Hostel 2, when Whitney was kidnapped, she was in a room with a bunch of other people, but they were handcuffed to like pipes and shit in this dark room. In Hostel 3, they are like in little prison cells, and you're kind of like, why are they doing this? Why aren't they just like chained to like a wall again or something? It's kind of like it's just kind of weird in that sense. You're just like, what the fuck is the purpose of doing it like this and not like how it's been done in the previous like in the previous movies? Um, whatever, I guess. So so Mike gets pulled out of his room. There's this guy named Victor who's from Ukraine. He was in the opening scene. Who cares? This guy named Victor is there. He's telling Mike. He's just like really ominous throughout the whole movie, even though he's also captive. He's like, they come in here and get you, and when they get you, say goodbye, my friend. And Mike's like, what? So these two guys show up. They like take they grab Mike, they put him in this room, and then okay, here fuck. Oh my god, I just knocked my goddamn headphones off. Here's the fucking thing. In both the Hostel movies, it's pretty clear how the organization makes money. They kidnap people, people bid or pay on the people they want to take out, like the people they want to torture from like the people that got kidnapped. And then they pay the organization and then they get to do the torturing and kidnapping. So I guess to fit the Vegas theme, it's like a gambling thing now. So all of the so Mike gets pulled into this room. There's a huge glass wall, which I think should be one way because like I think it'd just be cooler if it was a one way mirror. But I guess they didn't want to film it like that, which it's fine. I guess whatever. It'd just be cooler in concept as a one way mirror. Um, so Mike is like put into this chair, and it's like oh, classic hostile chair. Like it's like the one that binds your hands and feet and shit. Then they like bind his neck, which is new. Um, so they put him in the chair. It's like a view of all the clients is what they call them, like the people who pay are like sitting on like chairs and shit, getting service from like the women and stuff, and they're sitting in chairs and they got like little laptops or little tab screens, and they can like gamble on what they expect, I guess. So like Mike shows up and they like first the first gamble is like what he'll mention first. So some put money on like he'll mention he's a family man, or some will say they mention, or some will be like he's gonna mention money, or he's gonna fuck. I forgot my output was up. Probably just heard a bunch of Discord notice earlier. His out like or like he'll say his or like they'll mention like they basically bet on what he mentions first, like bingo or some shit. So they're like okay, I bet he's gonna like mention his wife and kids, and then he does, and then like a machine goes off and it's like congratulations users 2714. Um, then I guess they bet on what uh like fuck what it like they bet on what the torturer is going to use. So and now it's kind of like they're now that it's like it's weird because it's like why are they're betting to like see the person get tortured where the first is like it's about sadists torturing people like pulling you into a room to torture you, but like now in this one it's more in the entertainment sense. um the change of view from like Slovakia to fucking Las Vegas is so jarring for the movie. Like the location change is jarring. The light, like the lighting, the vibe, the script, the characters, everything is so jarringly different that it's like the change in Hostel 1. It's so fucking strong and different that it's like kind of upsetting to how different the movie is. Like if you just change the name, this could have just been a Hostel inspired movie. Like if you just changed the name, it could have been Hostel inspired. Um so okay, so the fucking three guys wake up back in their hotel room. Justin 3 is like, "Oh, hey, where's Mike?" They don't know. So they go on this long-winded hunting for Mike thing. Um and while they're doing that, like three of them they get tricked into this hotel room and you'll never guess where it is or what it's called. The hostel. Ah! Okay. Dickhead. I saw that and I audibly sighed and I went fuck off. Um it's just like dude, why didn't the movie take place here? Why didn't it take place here? Why couldn't it have been four friends who just go to Vegas for vacation? Because Vegas is like a hotspot vacations place. Like it could have been okay. Four fucking like college friends are on like their senior break. They decide to go to Vegas because it has women and booze and money, that's why they're in Vegas. And then they decide to stay at the hostel because it's like fucking cheap, and it's still good. It's not like those super Vegas strip ones, so it's like cheap, and then they can spend more money on booze and women. So they do that, and then while they're there, you just do like the beat of like they get tricked, they get kidnapped, and then they get tortured. Okay, in this movie, okay, so they go to the hostel. The fucking like while they're there, they get like hit by this fucking like skunk spray or some shit that knocks them out. and and then they wake up in the prison cell. The fucking guards come in to like go collect again. They grab Justin, and then when they come, and then like Justin gets tortured by like a cyberpunk Japanese tribal woman, like cyberpunk tribal Japanese style. Like she was like aesthetic. I don't know why. The guy who tortured Mike was like a doctor looking motherfucker, and then the guy who tortured Kitty was another doctor looking motherfucker. I don't know why they did it like this, but it just kind of happens. So she pulls out a crossbow, shoots him a couple times, like gets him in the knee, like gets him in the legs, shoots him in the crotch, and then shoots him in the shoulder, and then shoots him in the head. For some reason, Justin is like a fucking super trooper. When he gets like crossbow to the knee, he's just like, uh, like he's just like grunting a little, like he doesn't like flinch. He gets a fucking crossbow in the dick, and he's just like, ah, ooh, ooh, like he like scream. Like why is he not fucking howling in pain? Um, well, that reminds me actually about Mike's death because I didn't even cover that. Mike dies in probably like the like Mike dies in like whew, I wish this was directed by Eli Roth and produced by Quentin Tarantino again because I would have loved to see this death with even more of a budget and more of the vibe. But Mike gets his like face cut off, literally gets his face cut off and like peeled off and like gets it put on a mannequin and it's like oh, ugh. It's like it's really good. Um, it's really good, but it's also just like like fuck, you know. Then Katie, the woman he was with, gets like I don't know, like beetles in her mouth or something. Like this guy shows up, squirts some shit out of like a Elmer's glue looking motherfucker bottle in her mouth, and he's speaking in Russian, and then he's like, then he just like sweet and sour, like you. And yeah, like what the fuck are you talking about? What is happening? What is happening? I'm fucking peeking my goddamn mic. I need to turn this audio down. But you're like, what? You're like, okay, whatever, 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 whatever. So Mike dies, Katie dies, then Justin dies. Then the guys come back. They're gonna take like, not Justin, or was it Justin? Fuck, I'm losing track of who's who. Justin died. No, Josh dies. Justin 3 is still alive. Justin 3 and Scott are still alive. And also when they went looking for Katie, they like walked into an RV and then they found this random woman who wants to go with them to find Katie. I don't remember her name. Ella, I think. Yeah, she's Ella now. Fuck. I I'm so scrambled. It was on purpose with Hostel 2. I I didn't cover all the plot in Hostel 2 because it's like it's not that important. It's not too important. But like whatever. Hostel 2 was good. That was in the story. Hostel 3 is like it's like pissing. I'm getting confused because it's pissing me off. So so the guards come in and they're like, okay, you guys are next. So Scott now decides to show the guards that he has a hunting dog tattoo and he's in the organization. Goddamn. Whew. So he decides now to show them that he's in the organization. And you're kind of like, why did he wait till now? Whatever. Like, whatever, 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 whatever. So, so Justin 3 is like, what the fuck's going on? Scott gets taken into the room of the fucking guy who owns the Vegas branch of the organization. Which, okay, yeah, sure. Like Sasha's about his money, so I assume he would probably make other branches. I doubt he would put this bumbling fucking idiot in charge of it because Sasha is seen as very smart and organized and meticulous. Like he's almost a control freak. Like every all his workers have a script. Like the people who like trick the fucking victims have a script that they must follow. The people that like are the guards have like have organization that they must follow. But this guy is a bumbling fool. So he talks to fucking I'll call him Scarface because he's got a little scar on his cheek. So Scarface is like, hey Scott, like what happened? So Scott then says the line that throws me into like spin cycle where he's like, oh, there were some mistakes on both sides. This could have gone better. And then you click it together that Scott set up his three friends in like or like so okay, and then we're just gonna cut a little because it's just so we're aware of why I'm gonna start talking about this. So Scott, well, it has like Justin 3 in his like little torture chair and is like, oh, just like I'm doing this so I can kill you because you took Amy from me. Justin 3's wife is Amy. She had two fucking scenes before this, and she's a key character to the plot. She's the motivation of the main villain for why he's doing this, and she has two scenes in like 4 lines in the beginning. And she shows up at the end, but whatever. So, 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 so Scott is like, yeah, like it could have gone better on both sides. And then you're like, wait. No, 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 no. Are you telling me that Scott like tricked his friends into coming to Vegas so he could like sell them off to the organization and torture them. Okay, I'll buy that. But why did he do it in this long-winded, twisted, stupid fucking way? Cause he even goes, Mike was in the wrong place at the bad time. Why did he even torture Mike? Mike wasn't even near them. Mike and his escort were fucking in the room, like without anyone there. They just got kidnapped and tortured for fun, for no reason. Like it wasn't even Scott's plan to get them tortured and killed, but they still did. So he was just like, oh fuck, that just happened, I guess. Whatever. Justin gets kidnapped and tortured, and you're like, why did that happen too? But the main thing is, why did Scott do this long winded, over the top, stupid plan to get them all kidnapped, to get sold off, to get tortured and killed? And why were the fucking people who work for the organization not aware that Scott is a client for the organization? Because they go to the fucking hostel. The fucking guy who works for Scarface is like right hand. We'll just call him right hand because whatever. Right hand, it like tells them to like bust into the hostel room that Scott and Co are in. They get fucking hit by skunk gas and knocked out and kidnapped. Did he not know who Scott was? Scott is the fucking client for the. He's the reason why Mike and Justin were kidnapped in the first place. So, so you're like, this is stupid and nonsensical, and it's really fucking dumb, and this plan doesn't make sense because why didn't? If this was the plan, if this was the plan, why not just do this? You get your three stupid fucking friends into Vegas. You don't do this long-winded bachelorette party idea. You get your three stupid fucking friends in Vegas. You either okay, maybe do the bachelorette plan, whatever, the bachelor plan. Get them in Vegas. Make them just drink a shit ton of booze till they pass out, or drug their booze. Like they drugged fucking like they drugged Paxton and Josh already in the first movie. You could just drug them. So just drug them while they're at the bachelor party. Be the only one who doesn't drink. Like, get your little goons to come help you carry them to the hotel room. Quotations, quotations, quotations. And then they wake up in the fucking prison cube. And then you just torture and kidnap them there. Why not just do that? Why not just do that? And then before that happens, we can have like more scenes of them like being friends and being characters. So then when the torture death scene happens, that conflict comes from the first part of the movie, comes back, and it's like, oh fuck. Like the goddamn point of the Hostel series is back. Oh, oh, oh. So Scott gets to torture Justin the third. Then Scarface is like release Justin from his cuffs. He like starts beating up Scott. The fucking Ukrainian guy gets free. It doesn't matter. So okay, Justin escapes. Fucking finds right hand. Well, he actually first he discovers the bodies of his friends. Then he finds right hand. Then him and right hand duel it out. He kills right hand. He fucking rescues the Ella woman who also got kidnapped with them. He rescues the Ella woman. Ella gets like shot by some goon or something. Who cares? And dies. Scarface calls evac, so all the fucking clients leave and everything, and you're like, whatever. Um, so Justin the Third. Oh, also Scarface set the fucking place that they're torturing people to blow up in. It's like a huge like hotel, rundown hotel in the desert, I guess. But the hotel is gonna blow up or whatever. Okay. So Justin the Third is running out of his fucking running to get out. Scott kills Scarface, takes his car, and is like driving to get out, sees Justin the Third in his rear view, and like a fucking supervillain runs to like the metal gate that is like the main exit for some reason. Runs there, fucking chains the third in, and is like ha ha ha. Now I'm gonna go like I'm gonna bang your. Oh wait. That reminds me. Well, Justin the Third's getting tortured by Scott. Scott is like, oh yeah, your friends are dead. I set us all up. I'm a part of the elite hunting club, and then he tells Justin the Third, I'm gonna kill you. It's gonna seem like you just died in some stupid way. I'm gonna make it up, and then I'm going to go back home. I'm going to fuck your wife and sleep with her in your bed, and she's not gonna know that she's sleeping with her killer. And I'm gonna fuck her in your bed. That's what he says word for word. I'm gonna fuck her in your bed, and I'm gonna be looking at your fucking urn or pictures of you while I'm fucking her, like a supervillain. And then when Justin the Third gets out, he does these $2 baby stabs on him with a kitchen knife where he grips it with two hands like it's a fucking great sword and like pokes him in the belly like three times or something. Fuck, excuse me. And you're like, dude, why are you not bringing down the fucking hammer on this guy? He killed your friends, or indirectly is the reason your friends got killed, and just said to your face how he was gonna fucking kill you and then fuck your wife. Kill him! Fucking rip his head off, dude! He's fucking poking him like he wants him to get back up! It's like a fucking prod iron! He's poking him like he's fucking tending a fire! Like he's at a bonfire! He's stoking the flames! So, so Scott fucking chains him in. It's like, haha, I'm gonna go fuck your wife, and then he like drives off, and then the building blows up, and you're like, oh, I guess Justin dies. So then they cut to like a random urn in fucking Amy and Justin's house, and then Scott's like, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna comfort you, and I'll help you out. Amy's like, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna like go get us some wine. Scott takes a seat. Amy comes back, stabs him through the hand with like a fucking wine opener, like a cork opener, and is like, "I knew all along." And then and like because Justin the Third's alive, and then Justin like pops out from behind Scott like he's fucking Jason Voorhees at the end of Friday the 13th 2, jumping out from the fucking lake to drag a kid in. You're like, what is he? What is this? You're like, what is happening? And then, besides that, you're thinking, how did he survive the explosion? Like, okay, he wasn't like directly in the building, or like he was kind of far from the building, but that explosion looked massive. But it's like the back of his head is burnt, and then you're like, wait. Did Justin the Third survive an explosion, then run out of the Las Vegas desert back to the city in like I don't know a day or two? Get to the city, somehow get back to his hotel with like burns all on him in this like burnt fucking suit, like this explosion. No, no, he called 911. Fuck, god damn it. Okay, no, I'll give him that. God damn it. Okay, so he got rescued by 911, and he probably got a transport back home or something. I don't know. I don't know how they let him at the hospital when he's like burnt to shit. Like the burn wounds aren't even healed. So I don't know. I guess maybe he just said I don't need a hospital, and they believed him for some fucking reason. So he then like he shows up. He grabs Scott, like puts him in the fucking like takes him to the basement, and like they like torture him, and then he like it cuts off to the outside view of the house, and then the scene ends, and then the movie ends, and it was dog shit. Like it was bad. It was bad. It was just dog shit. Like you finish. I finished the movie, and I was like, it was bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And it's different than like the usual bad schlock that I'm used to, because it's like two good movies and a third movie that's just so bad. Like at least with like the Halloween franchise, It was a steady decline of shit. I was like in heaven, and then they pulled me down to horror shit hell. Like I felt like I was like, oh my god, we've been bamboozled, we've been gobsmacked, we've been led astray, we've been twisted. I'm twisted. This movie is twisted, and not in a good way. It was like, oh, okay, whatever. So, so that's the series. That's the Hostel franchise, and the thing about it, I guess, the main thing about it is that Hostel one, like the Hostel movies, do a good job of showcasing that even the killers in our movies, or in our horror movies, or the people in our lives who we view as horrible people, are not this one-sided way about them. Hostel 1, like the chicken finger guy, was the sadist torturer, but he had a wife and kid that he cared for and loved and took care of. Like Ogie was this woman, like this super womanizer, but he had like a daughter that he loved. And it shows in Hostel too. Like Beth was this very kind, sweetheart woman, but she had an explosive side. She could be cruel. She could be fucking mean. Like she could be the like one of the torturers. She could very well be one of the torturers in the series. It does a very good job of that. It showcases that humans are never black and white. And even in fantasy, in these horror movies that we watch, like with these killers, these like fucking like sadists, these like evil people, even they are not black and white all the time. Like they can also be people, or they can all like they are. I mean, not also be people, but they are also complex people. Like that is human nature, and that will be humanity and humans till the end of time. Um, it's very good in that sense. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it kind of shows in three, but not really though, because the main villains are just evil sadists, and that's just how they stay throughout the movie. Like the good guys are the good, and like Justin is good, and Justin the Third is good, and Josh is a good guy. Fucking Mike is like a dickhead asshole, which is like fitting of like the main characters. Like the main characters should have been assholes. Like all the three of them should, all four of them. I mean, besides the main killer, but all three of them should have been like assholes. But they're redeemable. Like Hostel did good. The first Hostel did a good job of redeemable assholes. Like they were dickheads. They were assholes. They were like they were assholes. They were womanizers. They viewed women like objectively, but there were scenes of redemption or areas of these characters being could be different people or weren't just like these like frat douches or like just these terrible assholes. And it goes both ways. Like the street goes both ways. And it's not there in Hostel 3. The cast wasn't very good. Some of the acting wasn't very like some of the acting was just all over the place. The I like the idea of the organization being like having branches was really interesting. Like having different areas. I wish there were more mentions or nods to the previous movies. Like Hostel 2 has it a lot, but like there's none in Hostel 3. Even like I'm sure they couldn't get the actors or actresses maybe. Like but I don't know. Like just a mention. I just wanted a mention. I didn't even need like crazy stuff. Like if Scarface was like, oh, the main like the organization in Slovakia, like this is like a like he does say it's like a branch. Like so I guess there's that. And I mean of course everyone's got the fucking hunting dog tattoo. But like he just like I don't know if he was like he says the boss doesn't like that stuff, which I kind of okay. I'll buy the fact that the boss probably doesn't tell anyone besides like people he really trusts to like with his name, like he's just known as the boss or the guy. But like I don't know if they were like if they mentioned Beth or like if like some like with or with when Justin escaped, they were like oh, this is back in like Slovakia, like with that Paxton kid or some shit. Not like that, because that sounds kind of stupid, but just something along those lines, right? Overall, if I were to give them like a number value, Hostel 1 would be like an 8 out of 10. Hostel 2 would be probably an 8 or 7. Hostel 3, dude, fucking like 3 out of 10. Like, I'm being so generous. I want to give it like a fucking negative. I liked it a lot. No, I didn't like it a lot, actually. I mean, I liked Hostel 1 and 2 a lot. But there were things in Hostel 2 that were like potential. The potential for greatness was there, which makes it worse. Um, but that's where the series is or ends right now. Maybe there might be a reboot. I think there might be. I don't. Maybe. I doubt it because Hostel 2 got banned in like a shit ton of countries, and it also didn't do well in the box office. Hostel 3 was a straight to DVD release. Hostel 1 did amazing and was like renowned, but maybe they might do a third one. Maybe they'll do a reboot. If so, I hope they learn from sins of the past and blessings of the past. Because if not, then I'm not gonna be fucking happy. But that is the Hostel franchise. This is also episode one of whatever I call this because I haven't thought of a name yet. But thank you for listening. I hope you tune in for the next time. Have a very, very nice day and check out the series. And also, don't go don't stray from your if you were traveling, never stray from the path that you have set out, and do not trust strangers who tell you to go to certain locations that you have not fully researched at all. Good luck.